My phone rang early on a Saturday morning. "Morning, Raymond," my client said excitedly. "I've found the perfect Ford Ranger. I want to buy it for my parents." I could hear the excitement in his voice. Buying your parents their dream vehicle is something special, and I knew he wanted everything to go perfectly. "Where did you find it?" I asked. "It's at one of the biggest dealerships in South Africa," he replied confidently. "If it's from a big dealer, it must be good." I smiled. "Let's go inspect it first," I said. A big dealership doesn't always guarantee a perfect vehicle. As an automotive technician, I've learned one important lesson over the years. Never judge a vehicle by its shiny paint or polished tires. A clean car can still hide expensive problems. We arrived at the dealership later that morning. The Ford Ranger stood proudly on the showroom floor, freshly washed and polished until it looked almost brand new. The body panels lined up nicely. The interior smelled fresh, and every surface had been cleaned to perfection. My client looked at me with a smile. "This is the one," he whispered. Just as we were about to start the engine, nothing happened. The battery was completely flat. The salesperson apologized and hurried off to fetch a booster battery. While everyone else waited, I did what I always do. I started inspecting every inch of the vehicle. I walked around it slowly, checking the body lines, paint finish, door gaps, and chassis. At first glance, everything looked impressive. Mechanically, nothing obvious stood out. Then something caught my attention. A few small details around the body suggested the Ranger had been involved in an accident at some point. It wasn't immediately obvious, and most buyers would never notice it, but years of experience had trained my eyes to spot the smallest clues. I didn't panic. An accident history doesn't always mean a vehicle is bad. If repaired properly, it can still be reliable. What mattered most was how it drove. A few minutes later, the salesperson returned with the booster battery. The engine fired up immediately. It idled smoothly, without unusual noises. No warning lights appeared on the dashboard. "So far, so good," my client said with a grin. I nodded. "Let's take it for a test drive." We pulled out of the dealership. For the first few kilometers, everything felt normal. The engine had good power, the steering was straight, and the suspension felt solid. Then it happened. The gearbox hesitated before changing gears. A few moments later, it slipped again. I looked at my client. "Did you feel that?" He nodded. The gearbox continued to shift roughly, and it became clear this wasn't a small issue. This was the kind of fault that could easily cost tens of thousands of rand to repair. I asked the salesperson if they had noticed the problem. "It's probably just because the battery was flat," he replied. I knew better. When we returned to the dealership, I pulled my client aside. "My advice is simple," I said. "Walk away." "But it's exactly what I wanted for my parents." "I know," I replied, "but you're buying peace of mind, not problems. This gearbox will cost you a fortune, and that's only what we discovered today. There could be more issues waiting." He looked back at the Ranger one last time. It still looked beautiful, but appearances can be deceiving. That day, he didn't buy the vehicle. Sometimes the best deal is the one you choose to walk away from.